So a number of weeks ago I had to go to my local GP surgery as I had been having a few issues with passing a bit of blood. It was giving me quite an amount of concern and it's been going on for a number of weeks. So I've been booked in for a colonoscopy, and for anybody that hasn't had a colonoscopy, there's quite a bit involved. About 2 weeks ago I went to a local hospital for like a triage before the preparation, and a lovely nurse sat with my wife and I and explained a number of things that were going to happen and how the procedure actually works. So you get a document like this. I can show it to the camera. It's quite a large document, a number of pieces of paper, and in particular you get a diet sheet. And these are foods that you're allowed to have prior, because you have to prepare your bowel for the colonoscopy. So I don't need to read out just about everything that's on the sheet, but the type of things that you're allowed: tea, coffee, malted drinks. You're allowed spaghetti, rice and pasta, but you're not allowed any high fibre versions. Eggs, cheese, milk, plain yogurt, cream, butter and ice cream. Potatoes without skin, mash, roast or oven chips, all meats, offal and poultry. But I was advised, in fact, you're only allowed white meats, not red meats, because they're looking, basically they're checking for cancer in your bowel. So they don't want any red meats in there. All fish, clear cream soups, plain milk, chocolate and other sweets, jelly, seedless jams, roundless marmalade, honey syrup, treacle and lemon curd. And you've got to stay off wheats and all those wheat products. So you stay off them for 5 days. Now I'm just about coming to the end of that 5-day period. And then you go on to the movie prep, which is this stuff here. And the movie prep, for anybody that's gone through a colonoscopy, they will tell you it's to get you moving, and by goodness, by all accounts, it certainly does that job. So
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it.
From the toilet, it says that you get about half an hour before this thing starts to kick in. And you've got to mix it well. So we're going to do that. Give the counter a wipe here. And as you can see, there's quite a lot. Like there's 8 ounces of powder in that bottle. So bring things over to here. And they say just use cold water, not chilled. So it's not quite a litre, so I better take this, better do this exactly right. God knows this is going to be awful. I'm sure it's going to be awful. A couple of skewers I think will do the job. Yeah. So you have to give it a good mix. And for me, I'm going to divide it into the cups. I think that's a better way to do it, because they say that you have to take, oh well, no, I might actually keep it in the one cup, because when we go upstairs, and obviously I'm not going to film in the bathroom for any reason, but let's close this up, give it a wipe, and I'm going to give it a really good shake. Well, a bit of an update, 10 past 10 at night. Movie prep's done nothing. I haven't been to the loo once, so I don't know how it's going to clear me out, but it's not doing anything for me. I have to be up again at 6 for the next session. So I think I'm going to go to sleep. Well, it's 3:45 in the morning and movie prop has decided to wake me up with a vengeance, so things seem to be starting. I should be fast asleep.
And out comes the slurry.
Well, good morning. Here's a little update. It's about 10 o'clock now this morning and movie prep. I keep calling it movie prop, but it's movie prep. It sort of kicked in about 3:30, 4 o'clock this morning, and I've pretty much been running to the loo ever since, every 5 or 10 minutes, so it actually can be quite exhausting. You're not allowed to have breakfast. You can have your drink of lemon juice as I'm having, and you can have boiled sweets, and I have a boiled sweet for breakfast, and that's all you can have. No food until after the procedure, and the procedure starts around about 1:30, 2 o'clock, so it's going to be 3 or 4 o'clock before you get your first. Well, I'm now in the waiting room, got my cannula, and I've had my pre-op assessment or pre-procedure assessment, so I'm sitting waiting now to go in to have my endoscopy. The movie prop, whatever it's called, movie prep has completed working, so I'm not going to the loo anymore, thankfully, and I'm literally sitting in my appointment room waiting to go in, so see you on the other side, as they say. Well, as you can see in that previous video from the BBC, I pay my license fee, so I think I've probably paid for the video, but I didn't have any polyps. My colonoscopy went extremely well. They did have some trouble getting to one part of the colon, and the whole experience was very respectful. I retained my dignity. It wasn't particularly painful, a little bit uncomfortable in places when the camera had to sort of bend around the colon. It normally takes about 35 minutes. My procedure took a little bit longer because we had to get a specialist in to try and give the nurse practitioner some assistance trying to get to a part of the bowel that most other cameras don't reach. We couldn't get to that, so the result of my colonoscopy, I'm delighted to say, is that I'm completely clear, 99.999% clear. There was one small part of the bowel that we couldn't get to, but it was a minuscule part. I didn't pass a lot of wind. I didn't find it terribly uncomfortable. I did have, I don't know if you can see the bruising there. I had 5 attempts to get the cannula in, and I suppose I was pretty dehydrated, which gave some problems getting the cannula in, but that was for the sedation, and I had this sedation. It didn't knock me out, but made me talk a lot, so the nurse said anyway. So all in all, the procedure was a lot less traumatic than I thought it would be, a lot less uncomfortable than I thought it would be, and a lot less embarrassing. The staff were truly spectacular, and I went into my colonoscopy with laughter in my mind, and I much prefer laughing than crying. So I told a couple of jokes when I was in there, and I tried to keep the whole thing light-hearted, because I was concerned. I was extremely concerned. I didn't voice that in the previous videos that you've seen, but when you're passing a lot of blood, there certainly is a need to be concerned. And in fact, I got my hair cut this morning, and I was talking to my barber, who is experiencing similar difficulties, and he says, yeah, I must go. So I hope I've convinced him to actually go and get the problem addressed and find out what on earth is going on. So I can only thank the White Abbey Hospital colonoscopy department. It's not easy to say. Thank them for the way they looked after me, the nurses in Antrim Area Hospital, the whole process, the pre sort of triage talk, where they give you the movie prep. And all in all, I would much prefer to have to go through that again than taking the camera down the throat for like a stomach problem. But it was, it was very good, and as I say, a lot less painful and scary than one might have considered. Thankfully, there's absolutely nothing wrong with me. I'm 59 years of age this year, well, in a couple of weeks' time. So at my age, it's good to have your colon checked, and it means I actually got to see my colon, and it's a fantastic colon. You have to say that, as anybody would, having watched, lying on a bed, watching the inside of you from the outside. It's quite a surreal experience. But as the video said, the camera is extremely high definition. And all in all, the colonoscopy for me has been a very worthwhile procedure. I now know that my bowel does not have any cancer or cancerous polyps of any shape, form, size or description. And I'm very lucky. I'm extremely lucky not to be unwell. And there were some people that came out of that procedure who didn't have the good news that I had. And for them, I give them my best wishes, but it's almost like the flip of a coin. You come out with a clear diagnosis, or you can come out with a difficult problem ahead. So I thank the doctors, for it's the doctors and the nursing staff who looked after me. I don't thank God, because I don't believe in God, and it drives me nuts when people say, oh, thank God for this, or somebody's gone through an 18-hour operation and they say, I thank God for that. Well, no, I thank the surgeons who stood there for 18 hours and got you through the operation. So I thank the nursing staff for helping me get through what was a very difficult time. I hope this video helps. Further down in the links, I will place some links to other videos about colonoscopies and links to hospitals or support groups if I can find them, and I'm sure I will. But it's been a good experience. I'm glad to be on the other side of it. I feel a whole lot better, and I thank my wife too for putting up with quite a lot. I didn't just realise how stressful it was and how much stress I was under, and that manifests itself in many, many different ways. So to her, thank you so much. And I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope if you do have any issues that you go and get them checked out. Go to your GP, get a referral, get a colonoscopy, and make sure you check your bowel, because it's important that you do it. In fact, it could save your life.